Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Eleemosynary Moment. My name is Aaron Spears.
And I'm Brad Hathcock, coming to you from balmy Pennsylvania. It's only 18 degrees.
Nice.
If we're lucky.
I don't know why, but Southern California is 65 all winter, mild. I don't know what's going on here. It's our special episode, Brad. It's our favorite, my favorite one we do, which is our movies of 2025. The way we've done it in the past is we kind of our list, our top 15, and then we have the leftovers, and we kind of cover those first, and then we talk about them. And are you ready for this special event?
I love this episode as well. I think it's important to note that these are the movies that we have seen, not every movie that was out for the year, obviously. It's impossible to watch every single movie that comes out during a year, but you and I do watch a lot of content, and this is our favorites from what we have seen. There are movies, I'm sure, on my list this year that I have seen that you have not, as every year, and that's kind of what this is for.
Yeah, there are a few things I missed, and I wanted to see, but it just didn't work out. I think, what is it, the Handmaid? Is that a movie?
The Housemaid.
The Housemaid. Zootopia 2. Everybody's going to give me shit, but K-pop Demon Hunters, that was on Netflix. I didn't get a chance to get through all of that.
People love that. I've never seen it. Anime is not, especially musical anime, is not my forte at all.
You don't say.
People seem to love it, so I guess I'll give them some kind of credit for that.
Well, the charm of that film ended up being that it came from the Amazing Spider-Man studio, which those movies are really cool, and it's just that same art style, but like this. And I don't think Netflix even knew what they had on their hands, because there was it was Halloween time, and people wanted to dress up, and there was just no costumes, no merch, no nothing. So it came out of nowhere as a big hit. But
yeah, you know what though? That's sometimes I find that to be a good thing, that they don't understand exactly what they're putting out there, because it creates like its own kind of like universe of things, and then obviously they're going to overdo it now because it was so popular. That I assure you, there's going to be plenty of K-pop Demon Hunter bullshit out there this year and next year.
Correct. I must say that like Flow was the cat flood movie animated from last year that I had on my list, and I welcome animated movies that are completely unique, because I'm sick of sequelitis.
Come on, you can do a little bit more with animated films, I think, than you can with real movies, or live action movies, because there you could put anything you want in it. Like, even fantasy movies today have kind of their limitations, right? But with an anime movie, you really can do just about anything. So, who knows?
Yep.
I'm sure it would be on your list if you got to watch it.
Yeah. So, shall we begin in earnest?
We usually begin with our honorable mentions, correct?
Yeah, and
how many do you have this year?
This year, I was able to come up with 20
honorable mentions.
Oh, honorable mentions! I have 5.
Okay, I have 8 on here. So we can just kind of rattle them off here. If you want to go through your 5, I'll do my 8.
Sure. All right, so I'm going to start off with Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning.
Oh wow, it didn't make your list.
It didn't. Did it make yours?
It did.
Okay, well, so as we've done in the past, I won't talk about it until we get to it.
Okay, what's your other 4?
You can go next.
Oh, I have Good Boy on here. So
okay.
This is a horror movie that is told from the perspective of a dog. I will say it's not for everybody. It's also maybe a little hard to follow at times, but I have to give them kudos. The that dog might be the best actor of the year.
Does the dog get hurt?
No, not inherently, no. And
Oh, good.
the dog doesn't die, so it's not on the doesthedogdie.com or whatever. Yeah, I think once they did that in John Wick, you just can't go down that path anymore.
Well, John Wick seeks red hot revenge on the
Right.
killers.
And it spawned an entire series of things. So I just don't think you can do the dead dog thing anymore, at least not in that capacity. But no, it was a pretty solid film considering I think it had a limited release in theaters, and then it went to like Shudder. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was definitely on my list of stuff to check out that I never got around to. All right, I'll go next. There was this movie that came out at the very, very beginning of last year, and it was called Filthy Animals, and it was about these two guys that are they're kind of like they're on drugs or whatever, and they're like bodybuilders and stuff, and they go around Los Angeles and seek violent revenge on sexual predators, and it was a really good movie. It was satisfying, but like I won't say I for because this is going to go out to the world. I don't want to like describe the things that happened that the guy bad stuff. Guys did bad things,
right.
and so these guys just exact torture on them in a way that is incredibly satisfying.
Interesting. I'll definitely have to check that out. That sounds right up. That's like my speed for sure.
It feels.
Would you say it was like Pain and Gain, but
I never saw Pain and
vengeance?
Gain, but sure.
You don't want to?
No, it wasn't a bodybuilder type of movie. It was more like these guys just don't have anything else to do, and they're just like, let's just go fuck up sexual predators, and they do, and it's incredibly satisfying, and it feels
I
European.
support that.
Yeah,
I support that.
I don't know why the movie felt European. I don't know if the actors were European or it just felt very unusual. So yeah, I recommend that movie. It was
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out for certain.
yes.
My next one is, and this probably should have made my list, The Smashing Machine.
Ah,
It was a very good movie. It really was, and The Rock was fantastic in it. It didn't do well in the box office, and I will say it's just very niche. You have to know who Mark Kerr was, and you have to like MMA, and you have to like old school MMA, and it's just a different kind of film. The Rock was fantastic in it. I mean, I truly mean that. Like,
Emily Blunt, I'm sure was great too. No,
she was awesome in it. You don't think of The Rock always in terms of his acting, right? Like actually being good. He nailed this completely. To the point where even Mark Kerr's kids were like, "Oh my God, he sounds exactly like you." So you got to know he nailed that stuff. And he just looked gigantic in it. But fantastic movie. Again, it probably should have made my list. It just didn't because it's very niche, and I know I will like it just because of its content necessarily, but it was also very depressing. I actually do think you would like it, even though you don't know who Mark Kerr and stuff is. I think the filmmaking aspect of it you'll really like.
well, I think our list is going to be stacked with A24 movies, so that's another one that's probably going to go on HBO, and I'll end up checking it out. So
It's already on HBO. You should check it out.
sweet. Okay, so my next one is called Being Maria. This is about Matt Dillon plays Marlon Brando. So there was this movie that came out. I'm trying to get the details. Her name is Maria Schneider. The movie was called Last Tango in Paris. Okay, Last Tango in Paris is a really bad movie, but what was shocking about it was that during the production, the director did not tell. Marlon Brando was a method actor, and him and the director were like, let's do some crazy shit with her. And so he all but molested her on film without her consent.
I heard about this. Yeah, not I
Yeah.
haven't heard about this particular movie, but that situation I've heard about.
Yeah, and I think she was even underage at the time, so it's all
Oh
just real
God.
gross. And
Oh, you can
so
always count
subject,
on Hollywood.
yeah, this again European, like they made it in wherever, but it's a strange movie anyway. But Matt Dillon's performance is incredible. He is so spot on as Marlon Brando, which seems impossible to pull off because Marlon Brando was just like a unique figure. And I don't know. I just thought the movie was worth noting because it's like I'm surprised anybody made this movie about this incident at all. It doesn't seem like on paper something that like it's gonna like make a list or make money. But
think that's probably what the director was going for. Is like, hey, this is a great story to tell. I know it's like touching probably some touchy subjects, but probably worth examining. And Matt Dillon, underrated for sure. I don't know if you've ever seen the
yeah,
house that Jack built.
no, it's on a list.
It's good, and I think it's on like Tubi or something like that. But it's good, and he's a very underrated actor. I think people would most notably recognize him from There's Something About Mary,
Oh yeah,
and he was awesome in that movie.
yeah.
But I think that's probably why he gets like this bad shtick, really, and he's never been in anything like huge. I don't think so.
And this is why I hate the Academy because in any like normal like year of like acting where people that watch movies actually paid attention, he would get like nominated for Best Actor because he's just incredible in this movie. I mean, he's playing an actor, which is hard to pull off, let alone one of the most unique, gifted actors of his generation. And
Yeah,
man, does he
that's
fucking
why I was
nail
shocked.
it?
I think like The Rock was nominated for Best Actor for an Oscar or something like that for Smashing Machine. And again, it didn't get. It's not that kind of movie where you would see something like that, right? Because you're depicting a real person, and who knows? But yeah, interesting. I'll have to check that one out too. I think that's
Yeah, it was really good. All right, you're next.
mine. This one's weird, but it's an A24 film. It's called Eternity.
I've heard of it.
So it's actually like a rom-com with Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller, and then some guy who looks familiar, but I don't know who
This is
he
the
is.
Purgatory one, isn't it?
Yeah, where they kind of, well, it's not like purgatory, but I guess so. Like they go into the afterlife and they have to decide where they want to spend eternity. But some people wait. And in this case, like Miles Teller is like kind of waiting for his wife because she had terminal cancer or something when he choked on something and died. And so he ended up waiting for her sort of in purgatory, but then when she gets there, her first husband was there who died in like World War II or
Awkward.
something like that, and he had been waiting like 60 some years for her to show up there. And then she has to kind of figure out who she wants to spend eternity with. So interesting movie. Watched it with my wife because it's obviously like romantic comedy thing, but you and I are A24 stans, so I was going to watch it regardless. And solid movie, especially if you're watching it with your wife or girlfriend, whatever, and she's into that kind of thing.
Okay, I'm actually going to add a couple more to this list. They're occurring to me now, but you might bring them up anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think my next one is another A24 movie. I think The Monkey was A24, was it not?
Yes, it was, and that also is on my it's on my honorable mentions list.
Okay, as an honorable mention, I didn't like love it, especially after Longlegs being like what it was. The Monkey is silly, but like the excessive amount of gore and the way that movie ends too is just so weird. And
it was almost like Final Destination-esque.
Yeah.
In terms of the people just die from these like weird happenstances. You know what I mean? Like it was an odd movie, but solid overall. I think it was a Stephen King book, right?
It was a short story.
Right. So some of his adaptations are always like a little weird. Like if you remember back to like Thinner, great movie, but very, very odd film. I think a lot of his shit, like The Long Walk, Didn't even make my honorable mentions or anything like that, but if it made your list, we can stop talking about it, but I doubt it did. But it's a Stephen King adaptation, and it was Hunger Games-esque, but ultimately just bleh.
Well, as far as the monkey goes, it was like pretty fun, pretty strange. The actor is awesome. I think that's an Osgood Perkins movie, so I don't know what he's smoking to get as many movies made as he does, but the monkey's really cool. Like the way the monkey like turns and does the drumming and it's neat, and it's just the monkey's cursed and it's crazy shit happens. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun film. I like
Adam Scott's in it for like 5 minutes, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, he just likes to do shit sometimes.
Yeah, he's good in that.
My next one is Ballerina. So this is a John Wick-esque film.
I didn't see it.
He is in it for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes total. But some good action. I wouldn't say it was a great movie, but some good action. She has some like good kills where she like shoves grenades down this dude's shirt and then chucks him over a wall. He like explodes. I just like weird shit. Pretty cool. It's good fight scenes. The story was but you know, most of the movies now for John Wick is just the violence. You come for the violence.
Yeah, and De Armas probably come for her too.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Okay. Next on my list is October 7th. It was a documentary about the massacres from October 7th, and it had, what I think attracted me to it was just the amount of footage that I hadn't seen before. It's incredibly grim subject matter. It's not fun to watch at all. There's a lot of real life slaughter, and it's very violent and real, and it's got a narrative, and it goes through that day, and you know, they go to these places and they check stuff out, and yeah, it's just all the camera footage from like the street cameras or whatever, and just the amount of crazy shit that happened that day.
What's that on? Because that had some controversy around it, right?
I don't know if it did. I didn't hear the controversy. I bought it on Amazon.
I think people were saying shit about it being like Israeli propaganda and shit like that. You know, obviously depending on what side of the aisle you sit on here.
I mean, the violence is the violence. You can't propagandize that. I think it's on Apple, actually. You can watch it on Apple.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's on the list, but you know, I like to have documentaries on my list, and this year I didn't include that one. So.
Okay. I think I'm going to shock you with some of my top 15. Next honorable mention is Night Always Comes. Interesting film, for sure. It's kind of dark and gritty. Nothing crazy really happens. But what's her name? I want to say Rebecca Ferguson, but it's not her. Vanessa Kirby.
Oh, they are pretty identical.
Yeah.
Career-wise.
So Vanessa Kirby in this very like gritty kind of dark film. It's a slow burn, but I think it's an interesting watch. It was on Netflix, I believe, so check it out. It wasn't disappointing to watch. I'll say that.
Okay, well, I've run through my list of ones I wrote down, but it occurred to me that I may do this, and I don't know that I'm not. This isn't a proud moment for me. I kind of want to say Superman.
That was on my honorable mentions.
Okay, we did not hate that movie. I know a lot of people did. I thought it was fine. You know, like.
No, you and I both did not hate it. It was the least worst Superman movie they've made since Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, and so it's the least worst Superman movie since that. You know, they tried it with Brandon Routh before. He was terrible. The guy that plays Superman is good. He fits the mold. You know, pretty standard guy. Not the worst actor. I thought Nicholas Hoult was actually very good in terms of being Lex Luthor. And he makes an appearance in Peacemaker Season 2. So,
oh, cool. Well, Peacemaker makes an appearance in that, so
Right. So James Gunn, obviously, I think he definitely holds the keys to the DC universe at this point, because both of us also liked the newest Suicide Squad movie, which then spawned the Peacemaker series, which is also done by James Gunn and stuff like that. So I think, because you also liked, what's the one he did for
Guardians
Marvel?
of the Galaxy.
Yeah, you liked that, right?
I like
Generally?
those more than most of those Marvel movies. And I'm going to admit that he's got a shtick, and he does a thing, and it's going to get tiresome over time. I get that.
Of course.
But for now, I'm still okay with it, because Superman is kind of like identical in style to those Guardians of the Galaxy's movies. But you have to remember, he adapted that series, that comic book, which, as far as nobody knew what that was before they made the movie. So like nobody knew who Star-Lord was or Rocket Raccoon. These characters
And
were
now
like
it has a fucking ride at Disney.
yeah. So I mean, congratulations. Like he pulled that off and basically gave Chris Pratt his career. So yeah, I thought Superman was just fine.
Yeah, and he parlayed that obviously into a pretty decent career for DC now too. So I'm interested to see what comes of that. I mean,
It could suck, but at least it's very different from anything that's come before.
yeah, because Supergirl comes out this year.
And it looks insufferable.
Yeah, and it probably will be, and then we'll probably have this discussion again about we need to just be done with these properties. My next one,
okay.
You definitely didn't see, and it's Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare.
I definitely did be correct. Go ahead.
This is a movie where the IP became public domain and a movie was made. This is in the vein of like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, stuff like that. This director is doing all the IPs. Like he has a Bambi movie coming out. I'm pretty sure he's working on like Pinocchio, like all this other shit. Popeye the Slayer Man came out this year, and a bunch of like murderous Popeye IPs came out. Steamboat Willie shit has come out like last year. Screamboat, I think it was called, and so this is just that year. But this one was actually like better, and it was done better than Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. But it's a little easier, right? Because you're adapting what could be a human character. Right? He's not a teddy bear. So it's easier to adapt into probably a more real life situation. And so he basically is like killing children, and he's like kidnapping them and stuff like that. And they had Tinkerbell, who was like some cross-dressing like heroin addict, and he called heroin pixie dust, and like that was like the whole thing. And it's violent, it's dark, it's gritty, and the guy that actually played Peter Pan was excellent as such an evil character. I know it's not up your alley, but if you take away the Peter Pan thing, like that's just kind of naming conventions, and his whole thing of like taking them to Neverland is like killing them, right? But look at it from just the more like haunting, dark, like slashery type film. I actually think you'll enjoy this one. Honorable mention. I'm not saying it was a great film, but I think the adaptation of it was well thought out and put together.
Disney exploitation. It's the new everything exploitation for this
Someone's
era.
got to do it. And
Sure.
then I have one more honorable mention if you don't have one.
I am out.
Fantastic Four. Did
Go
you
ahead.
finally watch it?
I did.
Okay. So I didn't hate this. It was the best adaptation of Fantastic Four we have seen in our lifetimes. Hands down.
I agree.
Not even close. So I think that it deserves that, because you and I are really into the Fantastic Four IP as a whole and Doctor Doom. And now they're going to go do this whole Doctor Doom thing, which they didn't really do. It was the extra scene or whatever in Fantastic Four. But you and I are really into that IP, and I think that it was a fairly faithful adaptation. It wasn't as hokey as some of the other like Marvel bullshit is these days. So I give it full credit.
Okay, I'll give it credit for a couple things. They got Galactus right, and that was really cool.
Nailed. He wasn't a giant cloud like he
No.
was last time.
No, he was pretty cool. I mean, he looked cool. I thought he just looked neat. I think the style of it, that like late 50s, early 60s space faring, optimistic future Americana thing works for it. And I think that the way they did the Thing was really cool and funny. I like that the Thing was like shaving his beard, and he was growing a beard throughout the movie, which was like hilarious. I did things I hated though was Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby. I think are miscast in those two roles, and I also just I'm adverse to like birthing scenes in general, and then there's like a birthing scene in space while they're like, and I'm like, ugh, it just that kind of shit just like ugh.
Was a bit much, yeah.
That doesn't do it for me.
I don't even know who the guy was that played the Human Torch, but I think
the kid from Stranger Things is what he's best known for.
I think he was fine.
Yeah, I think he was fine too.
Yeah, I think he fit that role. But of course, I think when they start bringing in into Fantastic Four, into Avengers, I don't know that everyone's going to be accounted for.
I don't know how they're gonna pull that one together either, especially because they've been releasing those tiny trailers before movies.
Well, I mean, they're definitely doing it, right? Like
Right.
Doom was at the end credits scene, and they have to bring him in now. So they're gonna figure it out. I don't know, some time travel bullshit. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that movie is gonna not. It's not gonna work, and I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is gonna work. Whatever. I don't care.
Nope.
I checked out. That's why I'm saying Fantastic Four is like a completely serviceable movie, because all those movies are just absolute dog shit now.
Yep. The only reason I'm interested in seeing Avengers Doomsday is to see Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, because again, you and I both believe in that character as like being one of the best in the Marvel universe, I think, and we'll see if he does it justice.
Just never been done correctly.
Nope. All
right. Well, let's begin in earnest on the actual list.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Well, there's gonna be a little overlap, I'm sure. I'll go first. At number 15, I'm gonna put Weapons.
Way higher on my list.
Okay, so we'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay. Number 15 on my list, The Amateur.
What was The Amateur?
Rami Malek becomes basically like a hitman almost. I believe what happens is like his girlfriend gets killed, and he is like an analyst or whatever for the CIA or something, and he ends up going rogue and starts killing people. Sometimes like on accident, and I think that was the point, right? Like he wasn't adept at this. Like that's the point of the movie and the name, The Amateur. But he somehow pulls them off, even though he's not very skilled at this. He finds ways of killing people in some unique ways. Like he blows up this dude's like pool that goes between like two buildings, like on rooftops, and he
Sweet.
Like while he's in it, like he blows it up, so the guy like has to fall to his death and shit. So it's like stuff like that. John Barenthal makes an appearance in this.
Everybody likes John Barenthal. Here at the moment,
he's like in it for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes total, I think. But a pretty solid movie. I liked it, and I like Rami Malek, so.
Yeah, I mean Rami Malek was in Nuremberg also, and I liked him in that too. He's a good actor. He's fun to watch, but guy needs a new agent or something. I don't know. Like he gets weird roles. His roles make no sense to me. And his face doesn't fit with the characters he plays sometimes. It's just very strange. Okay, well, I'll have to check that out.
All right.
My 14 is Black Bag. Did you catch Black Bag?
I did not catch that. That has what's his face in it?
I'm pulling it up right now. Michael Fassbender and
That's it. I was thinking of Tom Hiddleston, who played Loki, whatever.
Yeah.
They're kind of the same person.
Yes, correct. Kate Blanchett's in it too. So I want to call this one out because this movie is actually really awesome, and it's kind of like it's like about these two agents who work for like MI6, and then somebody's trying to turn them against each other, but they're more clever than whoever's trying to do that, and so they start suspecting each other, but then eventually they both figure it out that they're being set up. And there's just like this chemistry between them. It's like kind of unspoken. Like either of us could murder anybody at any time, and it's like it's very like old Mission Impossible, but like
It sounds like a more
intrigue.
high class version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It's 100% that. Thank you. You nailed the description.
That story's like that's the same exact storyline.
Yeah, and I wouldn't spoil it here. I think we'll spoil some movies. I won't spoil this one, but the ending is just it's so perfect, and they just don't make movies like that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. For number 14 for me, I have Presence.
It's higher on my list.
Okay, then we'll get to it.
All right, my number.
You want me to go with my number 13?
Sure, go ahead.
I have this movie you may not have seen, late entry for the year. It's called Dust Bunny.
I saw it on there. I didn't check it out yet.
Mads Mikkelsen and what's his name? Something Damastoclean?
Oh, stop.
Yeah,
You're saying Roman names.
No, it's the guy from
Stand by, I'm pulling it up.
what was the devil movie that he did last year? And he's playing...
David Dastmalchian.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
You made up a name. No, yeah, that's the guy. Okay.
So this movie was a very interesting entry for me. Again, it was late, but
this came out like 2 weeks.
yeah,
I don't know how you caught it.
Literally like the end of the year.
Yeah.
I love Mads Mikkelsen. I am a Mads Mikkelsen stan. I watch like most of the shit that he's in, including shit nobody's heard of, because he was excellent as Hannibal Lecter on the TV show Hannibal. Plus, he was in one of the 007 movies and stuff like that, Casino Royale, I think it was. But essentially, this little girl hires him to be a hitman for her to kill the monster under her bed. So this monster supposedly like kills her parents. Now here she's been like adopted like multiple times and has different foster parents and things like that. And he starts to find out that like there's somebody out to like, kill her, like another hitman, like set of hitmen. And so he's like, there's no monster under your bed. It was the hitman that killed like your family. So there's an air of like the professional to it, but also turns out, and I will spoil this one, the monster's real.
Okay.
But it's like attached to her, so it follows them like kind of wherever they go. But it's kind of campy, and you're like, this is fucking weird. But then there's just some really cool things in it. I think you'll enjoy this one. I actually do.
I will for sure check it out. I just because I love Mads Mikkelsen as well, like just adore that guy. There's this movie called The Hunt that came out in 2012.
Yep.
I have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, that movie is amazing.
Yeah, he does some like really, really good shit. Like he did this something, The Riders, something.
Oh god, that movie was awesome too.
Yeah,
man.
where he starts like murdering bikers and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done just some really good work.
The bikers are like bullied like nerds, like nerdy adult guys, and he's like, no, I'm not standing for that.
Yeah, he just starts like offing them and shit like
Yeah.
that.
God, that movie's great.
That's it. He does some really weird shit, but he's European, so I mean, what do you expect?
I mean, he's in Death Stranding, and that doesn't make any sense, but I love him in that too.
Yeah, he was awesome in that. Hopefully, if they do a Death Stranding movie, he's in it. That would be great.
Yeah.
They might, if they don't put Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen in the Death Stranding movie, get fucked. Like, nobody wants to see that because they were in the game. Put them in the fucking movie. Plain and simple.
Hell yeah, brother.
But Dust Bunny, it's a fun one. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, cool. So this is my 13 now. I'm gonna go The Luckiest Man in America.
Oh, you know what, man? I saw that. Good movie. I didn't put it on my list. I forgot about it.
That's why we do the list. This one has this one has Paul Walter Hauser in it, and Walton Goggins plays the game show host. Walton Goggins is everywhere. This movie was fascinating to me because Paul Walter Hauser is like an incredible actor and like so underrated.
He doesn't get his due.
No.
I mean, did you see Richard Jewell?
Yeah, he was amazing.
He was awesome in that movie. Like, absolutely awesome in it. And he doesn't get his due for sure.
And he was also great in I, Tonya. So he plays a type of character, and this guy is like that, like those other two. He's kind of a sad, depressing individual who has got
Aloof,
a questionable
moronic
background. Yeah, and he's on a game show, and it's based on like a guy who was really a real thing, and he was obsessed with this game show. He watched it like every day, but his story is completely like maybe made up, but he's on the show and he keeps winning, and the producers are like, get this guy off of the show because is he cheating? Right. They wonder if he's cheating. They don't know. And so there's just a lot of intrigue with him, but he's like also living in an RV, and I guess the real guy ended up dying in like 1999. He won the money. He did get the money, but then ended up sort of dying alone and broke or something, and it has a bummer ending. I mean, it's kind of a bummer movie because he's just a very sad individual.
Yeah, it was very interesting. He somehow figured out that there was 5 patterns in which the game board went, and so he figured out a way to never hit a whammy, because that was like the big thing, right? Big bucks, no whammies. And he figured out the 5 patterns that they had, so he would sit there and watch it until he recognized the pattern so he could hit the button and never hit a whammy. Like, it, I mean, just kudos to him. And then they had to change. I think the show probably didn't last too much longer, did it?
I think this whole thing changed how they give out prizes for shows like that, because he wasn't cheating, but he figured out how to beat it.
Yeah, and it was on them for the fact that they only had those 5 and they couldn't do anything about it. So they kept like trying to find ways to rattle him, to get him like off his game and lose, and eventually he just gives up, right? And he's just like, yeah, okay, like I'll take the money and I'll stop, because he could have just kept going.
They kept, I think the thing was like you could press your luck, and he just was like, I'll keep pressing my luck, and they're like, okay, but then eventually they're like, oh, this guy is like unstoppable. And God, it's a very interesting film about something like that.
And about something that's kind of stupid, like if you think about it, like it's just this like game show, but this was a real person, and they find a way to make it gripping and interesting. Now I'm not sure that all of the story is true, like he had his girlfriend or wife and kid or something like that, and he was like estranged from them. He's like, I'm gonna win big.
Like he was like the movie's interesting because he's like making it up, sort of like his whole thing is kind of fake, but then the guy's real story is kind of fake and weird, and so the whole thing just, it's like lies built on lies. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and I don't think he was living in an RV. I think at least in the movie, I don't know about in real life, he was living in an ice cream truck.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, he drove his ice cream truck on the lot.
Okay, so yeah, it, like I said, anybody out there listening to this, like, well worth your time. It's a very good movie.
And that was, I think, direct to video, wasn't it?
That's how I saw it.
Yeah, it came out on, was it on, I think it might have been a Prime original or something.
I buy all my movies on Prime, so I don't know what stuff comes out on, but also this movie has Johnny Knoxville in it too. Just worth mentioning.
Oh yeah, low key.
Nice. All right, that was my 13. Want me to go with my 12?
Yep. We'll kind of just like cross-section this.
All right, so I'm going to throw the Phoenician Scheme in this spot.
Okay, this is one I didn't get to see, so give me the rundown here.
There's not much of a rundown. It's just like this Benicio del Toro is just this dude, and you have to remember we watched so many movies throughout the year that like this came out, I watched it. I don't remember every detail, but it's
This one
just
came out early in the year too, I think.
yeah.
So you would
This
have
is a
watched
Wes
a ton of
Anderson
content
movie.
after.
I will watch every Wes Anderson movie forever because they're just so quirky and fun. The way they design, like, and this one is no different. It's got like these little like there's a scene where like there's these little boxes moving through, and you open the boxes and they unfold into like these beautiful designs, and there's like the aircraft they're flying around, and I think he's like a people our super fan's gonna kill me for not remembering the details. I think he's like a dictator or something of a country, and he's just constantly being like assassinated, attempted assassinations throughout the entire movie in comical ways, which is really fun. And then also Michael Cera's in this movie, and I think Michael Cera is the best part of the movie. He is incredible. He plays like this very, very intelligent sort of like German boy lawyer guy, but he's like he steals the movie in my opinion. He's so good in it, and it's just full of that quirky charm of Wes Anderson, and sets that look weird. And there's this weird scene where I think Tom Hanks shows up and they play like basketball in a tunnel, and like there's just weird stuff like that. Yeah, I love it. And Tom Hanks being in every Wes Anderson movie now in like a bit role is like awesome. I just love that too. So
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I think it's on Peacock or something now.
it's just a delightful film.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. This one's going to throw you for a loop. I also have a documentary on my list.
You did it. Let's hear it.
Wick is Pain. This is a John Wick documentary.
Oh.
Yes, that is right. So interestingly enough, it actually goes through some of the history of just Keanu Reeves and how he got connected with these guys. So the stuntmen and the guys who ended up creating the whole movie and do all the stunt choreography and everything. So they were on and did all the fight choreography for The Matrix. And so they go back that far with Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, and then they kind of develop their own company that does fight choreography and stuff like that. And then they kind of developed a script for John Wick and like all this other shit, and ended up making this movie. And they were like, oh, Keanu, like we got to get Keanu. And he, I think, gave some salary back to help make the first movie, which people don't realize because they lost, I think they lost distribution and like all this other stuff. So it was interesting to see how many issues there were with getting the first John Wick movie out. But that these guys go way back, and that Keanu Reeves trains constantly, for these roles, including like doing jujitsu and stuff. And he's like really into it, and like that they would, do things like some of the limps and things like that he has in the movie are completely real from him, like training these scenes and like just doing jujitsu training and shit like that, where he's like limping a lot from a fight, and it's actually a real limp. And it was really interesting to see how the movie was made, and what went into it, because you think of the juggernaut that the John Wick era is of things, like up to including Ballerina and whatever other spin-offs, the Continental spin-off that they had a TV show for. So this is kind of how the sausage is made kind of situation, and I really enjoyed it.
So when John Wick first came out, go way back, I remember watching it when it first came on streaming, and I was like, Keanu Reeves was like in a lull. Like he wasn't really in a lot, and the stuff he was in wasn't very good. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I remember watching it going, holy fuck, this is an amazing movie. And then here we are now, and John Wick is like everything everywhere. Everybody knows what it is. But you got to remember, the time that movie came out, like it was not a hit. Nobody knew what that was at all. It was There's this movie where his dog dies.
Well, there was a lot of questions about Keanu Reeves for this movie too. They were like, he's kind of past like his action star, kind of fame. Obviously he was in like Speed and
Matrix.
The Matrix and like other action movies, and people are like, oh, he's just past his prime for those kinds of things. And he proved everybody wrong, I think, in that regard. Is Keanu Reeves a great actor? Not really. Did he have to be for John Wick? No. He had a very distinct purpose, and he handles that purpose like fantastically. And you can see the effort that he put in. Because I will say, I also watched Good Fortune from last year with him in it. It didn't make my honorable mentions. It's like him, Seth Rogen, and Aziz Ansari. It's not a great movie. It's like Keanu Reeves in the role is funny, but the movie itself is dog shit.
Yeah. He's just a charming person.
He'll do anything, dude. He was
in Toy Story 4, dude.
He was
great.
In just like a very brief stint. I think it was called like Always Be My Maybe or something like that on Netflix. And this chick like goes on a date with him, and it's like a double date, and he's like a low-key asshole but like the nicest charming guy. Like he just does weird shit, and John Wick was his like non-weird thing for a while, and now he's back to doing weird shit because he's kind of done with John Wick, I guess, because he was also in Ballerina. But this movie, it was great to see, because he is also in the documentary and everything. Like, they don't not talk to him. So it was a good documentary to watch.
Awesome. Okay. You go next.
My number 11 is The Accountant 2.
Okay. Go ahead.
I hate this one.
I did. I didn't like it. I don't like the first one either.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that about
Sorry.
you.
Yeah, I did not enjoy this movie.
Our super fan's not going to like that.
No, he's not.
He's really going to hate you for this podcast. Be prepared for ridicule.
I am.
Like, holy shit. So I liked The Accountant 2, but like one of the things about The Accountant 1 is he's like vaguely autistic.
Vaguely?
Like,
he's very autistic.
And they just kind of do away with that in the second one. Like, he just seems fine, like totally normal. And that didn't make sense to me, but the action was good. The whole like buddy cop thing with John Barenthal was good. Everybody, like, as we said, loves John Barenthal. So, I just thought it was a solid adaptation for a sequel. I hope they don't do a third one, though.
I'm gonna say that I think you're gonna shit on a couple of my picks coming up, so I'll shit on your pick here. It's just that movie doesn't go anywhere. Like, that movie just goes from like a thing to a thing to a thing, but it doesn't have like a through line. It's just, you call it a buddy cop movie, but there's not really even a lot of that. It's just really disjointed in a way that, like, it's just not for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm open-minded. I gave it a shot because Superfan and you both like those movies.
I will say, I think one of the selling points is it had a really sweet-ass popcorn bucket. So, like, the Airstream trailer that he has, that was really the cool. Popcorn bucket. I bought the popcorn bucket, so that might have something to do with it, but overall, I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I will preface this entire list with, this was not a good year for movies, okay? Like,
not really.
We probably picked some of the best ones. So I will say, like, we're picking from scrap here. But
I mean,
this one was one of the more memorable this year, I will say.
All right, so this is where you get to shit on my pick. My number 11 is Friendship, and I think you said Tim Robinson's a bad actor when you watch this movie.
Absolutely. And
I don't think
that's intentional.
I think it's hugely intentional. I thought this movie was like a social horror movie, and whenever I first watched it, I was like, this year kind of sucks because Friendship's my number one, so it came down to number 11. But it's just so fun to watch this movie and watch him just. You don't think he's gonna like do the things he does, and it's so unpredictable. And there's a scene where like he breaks a sliding glass door in front of all these dudes, and you're like, oh, there's just gonna be some quirky thing, and it's like, no, it's just gonna be incredibly awkward, and he's just gonna walk away, and Paul Rudd's gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like he's going to play in the sewers, and he takes his wife down there, and she ends up being like lost in there, and he's like reports her kidnapped or something, and she's a missing person, and he's like, I don't know where the fuck she went. And like the whole movie is just Tim Robinson being completely unhinged, and I fucking loved it because it was one of the only times where like I felt my toes curl because I was like, oh god, because it's just so over the top and bizarre.
So in practically every single thing I've seen him in, he's the same exact person.
Fair enough.
So
I think I like him.
At that point, you're not acting. You're just that guy, right?
It could be. Okay, so we did watch The Chair Company, right? Like he is kind of straight in The Chair Company. It's really all the other stuff going on that's weird.
I'm also not a Paul Rudd fan.
Okay.
Paul Rudd arguably has 3 good movies, and I Love You Man is one of them.
Agreed, but fuck you, dude. Paul Rudd's awesome.
His small role in Forgetting Sarah Marshall was another one.
Okay.
And then maybe Anchorman.
I mean,
so there's a theme here. There's only one of those movies where he's the main character.
I absolutely disagree with you on that point as well.
If you fucking say Ant-Man, I'll punch you.
I'm not going to say Ant-Man.
I will literally fly to California and punch you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to say Ant-Man. But I like Paul Rudd, but he's great in this movie too because he's totally straight man to Tim Robinson's madness, and it works.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
All right.
What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Presents.
Okay. I liked Presents.
It's higher for you?
No, it was my number 14.
Oh, that's right. We moved up. Yeah. Okay.
I like this one. I thought it was interesting storytelling. It was very different.
Let's set the scene. Actually,
very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Let's set the scene. It's shot on an iPhone by Steven Soderbergh. It takes place in a house, and it's got a few characters, and that's kind of it. And it's from the perspective of a ghost.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the perspective thing, which I thought was interesting.
It is interesting.
Same thing with like Good Boy being from the perspective of the dog. That's like, it's different. And
like
I
the ghost
that
isn't
was interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The ghost isn't haunting them. It's not really doing anything. It's just kind of observing, but you don't know what the ghost is or why. And because it's on an iPhone, you're just thinking like, how couldn't possibly work, and it absolutely works. And then once the story like unravels itself a little bit, and you find out who the ghost is, and you find there's a moment in the movie where the ghost actually does something, and you wait the whole movie for it to happen.
And
when
it's
it
like
happens,
a protective, like, good thing.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that is like a spine-chillingly good moment in that movie, because you're just like, whoa, like
right.
the way it happens is so
you
good.
Think that like the family makes you feel like they're being haunted almost, and that's just not the actual case. So it's like a misperception of what's actually occurring. And yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was eerie. There was never like a scariness to it. It was just why, like,
trippy.
Where is this going? Yeah, like there was a question of like, where is this going? Like, what's the point of it all? And then the ending draws it all together, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, I really see. So I liked it. Yeah, it definitely made my list at 14.
Yeah, there's this because it's an iPhone. I don't know how they hold the phone or how they do it, if there's a rig, but the way the iPhone is, you can kind of like tuck it into weird corners and weird places, like the closet scene, and it feels very strange because you're kind of like floating in and out a little, and it's just because it's an iPhone. I have to imagine it made it easier for them to shoot weird stuff like that.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
There have been other movies shot distinctly on iPhones. That's not the first one.
Well, this is the first one I've seen that I was like, first of all, I didn't even know it was an iPhone. But
Yeah, I'd have to look that up, but there are other movies that were shot on iPhones.
yeah,
All right,
love that movie.
Number 10, and I know this one's on your list, but it's a matter of where, is Caught Stealing.
It's on my list.
Okay, higher up, I imagine.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Then my number 9 was Mission Impossible.
Let's have the Mission Impossible conversation.
It's because this was on your honorable mentions. I liked it. It's the end of an era, right?
It is.
We have to give it credit for what it is. That's one of the greatest action series
Franchises, yeah.
Minus MI3.
Minus 2.
Is it MI2?
Well,
What's the one where Limp Bizkit did the
MI2.
MI2? Yeah, that must be the one.
I'm willing to defend that movie, but not for good reasons.
No, and I think a superfan will also defend that movie. But this was obviously also the second part of the finale, so it had to happen. But the action scenes are phenomenal. Obviously, the fact that Tom Cruise still at his age doing all his own stunts, like, and his stunt people are like, you can't do that. He's like, I'll get new people. Like, I think he created his own like insurance company to cover the movie. Like,
Yeah.
if he got hurt or something or died, and he just always takes it to the next level, which I appreciate. People will give you drawbacks of this movie. I don't think it did super well at the box office or anything like that, but very enjoyable from my perspective. And again, the end of an era, so we got to give it props. Oh no, you're frozen, buddy. All right, technical difficulties.
Yeah, my internet decided just to like go out for no reason.
Well, we were at number 9.
We were talking Mission Impossible
spiel.
Okay. Sorry. Go on. You were saying it was the culmination of all these films, and the action was kind of crazy. And what I was gonna say was that the reason I didn't love that movie is because it felt like it was too much and all over the place.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to shove a bunch of shit in there to do the thing, right? Like, it's what, the 8th or 9th entry in like a series of films. Yeah, so they were just trying to get everything together into one movie and wrap it all up in a nice bow for you. They tried to just be done. And I get that sentiment from it. But still enjoyed the action. Definitely one of the better action movies of the year. So I got to give it props.
Yeah, I think, and by the way, it might be a little disjointed now when I talk because I'm on a hot spot. Yeah, I thought the action was incredible, especially the scene in the submarine. I thought it was cool they brought back all those characters from the first movie. Yeah, it's just, it felt like it was a COVID movie, even though it kind of wasn't. But the other one was a COVID movie, so like it just felt a little weird in places. But fucking Tom Cruise is amazing. I'll miss that series.
Absolutely. He's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, as you know, I didn't start out as a huge Mission Impossible fan. Like, I always liked the first one, and then after the second one, I was like, ugh, just because I thought the second one was so bad.
But we busted your chops and got you on board. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I became on board, and now, as you can see, it's top 10 for me.
Okay. I'm going to try to get back on track here. Okay, so we did... Oh, did you do number 9 yet?
Yep, that was my number 9.
Okay.
So now it's your number 9.
Okay, this is where things get really fun. Number 9, The Surfer.
Good film. Not did not make my list. But yeah, let's talk about it. Good. I did enjoy this movie. I did. Nick Cage is on a renaissance, I must say.
I thought this movie was so crazy. The way it used time, and it was like, I feel like the movie was gaslighting me the whole time because it was like something would happen, and then his car is stuck, and then he's just there on the side of this beach, and there's like this gang, and you it makes you question all the reality of that because there's like this snack shop or whatever next to the parking lot, and there's a guy that's living in the parking lot, and you don't know if Nicolas Cage is losing his fucking mind or if it's all real or not, and it's just so bizarre, and it made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. I love when movies make me feel uncomfortable, and it was just so out there.
Yeah, I think it was a fun movie. Nicolas Cage always puts on a pretty interesting performance in a lot of his movies. He had another movie, I think it came out the end of the year, and I didn't get to see it, but it's called The Carpenter's Son, and it's like a Jesus horror movie. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that. Didn't get to catch it by the end of the year. But I love some of his work. Back to like Arcadian last year in 24, which I thought was really good. I believe it made my list. I'm a stan for him at this point.
And we should mention it was Julian McMahon's last role as well, before he died of cancer, and he's excellent in it too, as like a gangster, and it's like a gang of surfers. I do want to mention that it takes place in Australia, and it feels like these old Australian movies that I watched from like the 70s that are like they're like horror adjacent, but you're not really sure like what's reality and what's not. And it's definitely one of those. It was like so trippy and so bizarre, and he's again like the end of the movie. It's like I don't really remember. Well, like I guess the old man walks into the ocean or something. I don't know. It was a very strange movie, and I loved it. I love strange movies.
Enjoyable. That was your number 9. So what's your number 8?
Bring Her Back.
Oh yes, this. Man, see, I forgot about this movie. It should have been on my list, and it wasn't. Let's talk about it.
There's a kid that chews on a knife. It's incredibly gory. The gore in this movie is so out there. It's so wild.
And it makes you feel uncomfortable.
It made me feel very uncomfortable. These two kids, they move into this like this house with this like mother, and she has like these VHS tapes of like torture of kids to bring back her own daughter. I guess that's all you need to know about it. But there's this pool, and there's this little boy that's living there. And at some point, the little boy, I guess the ritual is like the boy eats the face of the dead girl to bring her back or something. Hence the movie name. But like there's this stuff where like the kid's throwing up body parts that he's eating, and all of it was very unsettling. Just a very bizarre movie, and the girl's blind in it, so like she doesn't really have any idea what's going on, and her older brother is there to like kind of protect her, and eventually like social services finds out about it and goes there, and oh man, this movie is crazy.
Nice. Yeah, I remember when he starts like eating the countertop, like
His
just
teeth.
like yeah, and his teeth are all janked up. It was just a really interesting, weird movie, and I also like because it was the same guys, the Filippo brothers or something like that, who did Talk to Me. So this was a nice follow up for them.
Yeah, and Talk to Me was on our list as well, and last year I think, and we liked that movie quite a bit. This one just it's a little tighter than that one is, and the blind girl, I don't know her name, is excellent in it, and there's just a lot of weird shit. The whole knife chewing scene, I'm not even like exaggerating. This kid's got like a big butcher knife, and he's like just chewing on it. It's so ugh.
Yeah, that was the cringiest part of the movie, but in such like a good way. Like that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like it was uncomfortable. Good,
Yeah, it was
good pick.
gross.
Good pick. 'Cause I meant to have that on there for sure.
God damn it, Brad. All right, you're next.
Mine was September 5th.
I got my 7 is September 5th. So let's do it.
Excellent. Oh, excellent. Perfect. I like this movie a lot. It depicts how the news was going to handle a terrorist attack on the Munich Olympics.
Yeah, it was the kind of the first live coverage of a news event that ever happened. So it was, they had satellites and they were covering it all live. These Palestinian terrorists took over the Israeli Olympic Village, whatever their room was, and they were negotiating with it. And so the movie's more about the TV part of it, where like, how do we coordinate the satellites? How do we get the coverage? And it was like the first live event thing. And yeah, it's a tragic story. Lots of people died. And the Germans handled it so poorly. And I think the movie does show how they just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting from the news perspective of it. They were like, "Can we show this on TV? Like,
Yeah.
this is like a live thing. Like, what if they get executed? Like, can we show that?" And it was very interesting from a news perspective as well. And they tell that story from such a good perspective.
It's also just a movie that flies. Like it's really action heavy because action heavy in the sense that like it's frantic and they're all trying to like move around, and the Olympic Village is, the Germans were so stupid the way they handled this. The Olympic Village stayed open while this was all happening, and so these terrorists were like coming on the balcony and they were showing the terrorists, and at some point, it's just the way they were like coordinating it, but like the Germans embarrassed themselves during this.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, the cast of it too, I think, was very underrated as well. The subject matter, I guess, is probably not something a ton of people know about as we get older, and the younger generations don't probably know too much about it. I don't even know a ton of it, but it was a good watch, and I highly recommend to everyone.
Peter Sarsgaard is the lead in it.
That was your number 7.
That was my number 7.
That was my number 8.
Okay, so what's your number 7?
So what was your number 8 then?
Bring Her Back.
Oh, your number 8 was Bring Her Back. Okay,
yeah.
My number 7 is Last Breath.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know if you saw this movie. So it's a real life story of a diver, like a deep sea diver. I guess he fixes like wells or something like that underwater. And these people have to go down and fix these like rigs and stuff. Well, Woody Harrelson's in it and was excellent, absolutely excellent in it. Where this guy goes down to make a repair, and they're in these like really choppy waters, and his buddy ends up getting out, but he gets stuck at the bottom, and it's like so cold, and he's running out of air, and he basically like passes out, and they're trying to get to him to get him out, and they have to figure out a way to go down and get him and bring him up. Well, the guy survives. Like this is all a real story. And it was just, the story itself is just awesome, and you love to see stuff like that, very like kind of heroic thing, but beautifully acted by like Woody Harrelson and the cast as well.
Woody Harrelson, sneaky good, just comes out and does movies that are...
Absolutely. And I don't think that a lot of people saw this movie, but I watched it early in the year, and it was very good. Again, my wife loves to watch like true story type movies, and so this was one I could definitely get her to watch, and I'm glad we did, because it was incredible.
Awesome. Okay, I guess it's your number 6 now.
My number 6 was Warfare.
Okay. Go ahead.
I can't imagine this ended up on your list at all.
It didn't. No, it's not because of the subject matter. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, so it's about a team, I believe a Navy SEAL team, that ends up in this house getting pinned down by enemies in Afghanistan, Iraq, one of the two.
One of the two.
They're at the same time. So, and Will Poulter is in it, and
He's so
I like
good.
Will Poulter.
Yeah.
And actually, the rest of the cast was pretty good. The
The
storytelling
kid from Fantastic
in it,
Four.
yeah,
He's in it.
Yes, he was in that. Okay. Mm-hmm. The storytelling in it was fantastic. Now it was like gory and everything, but also a true story. Like, this is all real. And they do at the end show like some of the filmmaking aspect and some of the guys who were there that survived. They, they had them on set and walking them through things, because it's all told from like the memory of the people who survived that day.
Specifically, one guy who I think the story, because he was the one who was on set telling them how to do it. I listened to a podcast with him about the movie, and he said that there were parts of the movie where like his memory triggered, and so the night before shooting, he'd go, "Oh, there should be a wall there," so they built a wall there for it. So like it was told from his kind of memory of the whole thing.
Yeah, and obviously there's gore, there's gunfights, all things I love. But again, love the true story stuff, especially when you see something like heroic like this happen. These stories aren't told enough, and I'm sure that there's plenty of them that haven't, been put into movies. But bravo, good job for these guys. I'm happy to see guys like this get their due, because like Will Poulter isn't even like the main crux of the story inherently.
No.
He's just kind of part of it, and I like to see him kind of test his chops out, because I actually really like him as an actor. I think he's great. If you think of where he's come from since We're the Millers, he's like night and day different. And so I must just tip my hat to this movie for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on it, because there's nothing bad to say about it, actually. It's a great movie. I think sound is a huge part of it, and the sound is like the design of it is really cool, because like you're getting like shell shocked and shit.
Yeah.
And it plays a huge role in it, and just the way they get out of that situation was really crazy. I wasn't.
I thought the sound design was the same as like Civil War, where it was like really
Yeah.
good. Where if like an explosion goes off, it's ringing in your ears, like and they tell the story in that perspective. So you're right, sound design was impeccable.
It was the same director as Civil War, right?
I believe so.
I didn't love Civil War either. It's not that I don't love or hate them. I'm indifferent to it, but it's a good movie. I'm glad you put it on your list, because I'm glad it came up at all. So yeah.
So what is your number 6?
My number 6 is Restless. It's a British movie, and it is my own personal horror movie. It might not be everybody's, but it's certainly mine. It's about this woman. She's very nice, and she lives in a flat in like London or something, or it's out on the outskirts, and a really loud neighbor moves in next door. And he is playing loud music all hours of the day, and there are people partying in there all the time, and she starts to really lose her cool and her patience with this guy. And the way
That's
it's
so
told,
boomer of you.
It is boomer of me. The reason why it's like kind of a horror movie is because like the idea that like she can't get sleep, and she's like, I gotta go somewhere. She drives somewhere, she tries to get sleep, she can't get it. She can't show up for work, and eventually she's just going into this guy's apartment, and she sneaks in and starts fucking up his music equipment, and she starts losing her mind because she can't get any fucking sleep. And the movie was driving me insane, because it was like, it made me so uncomfortable, because that shit drives me insane. I can't stand like loud music, and to have it happen at night. And then anyway, by the end of the movie, she ends up getting this gang to fuck this guy up, and it's such a satisfying conclusion to have him get what he deserves, because he's a piece of shit. And there's a cat. She's got a cat, and I'm pretty sure the cat gets killed by one of the dudes, and it's like That's all she has. It's just her apartment and her fucking cat. And she just wants to be happy and fuck this guy and fuck people like this. And it made me so fucking angry. And I was just like, fuck, this movie's awesome because I want that to happen to people. To me, it was just like, ugh. It was a stressful movie, but I loved it.
Tell me how you really feel about shitty neighbors.
It made me viscerally angry because I know people like this that are like, I have to play my music all fucking loud on Wednesday night, and everybody's trying to get some fucking sleep. And I have had these thoughts that she has where she goes through with it, where she literally breaks through the wall in the attic to get inside of this dude's apartment to just like cut the wires and shit. And I've had neighbors where I'm like, I just want to cut their fucking power. Like, can I just cut the power to their house? I'll do anything. Like, I can't stand it.
Probably hire a couple of MS-13 guys out there in California.
I mean,
handle that shit.
that's what she ends up doing, because she's just like this woman who lives alone. She's a cat lady. She doesn't have the ability to confront this guy in a way that he's going to take seriously.
Right.
And there's this moment where like you get so tired of hearing it and you can't get any sleep and you'll do anything. And it'll drive you fucking nuts. And I was like, this movie was made for me, basically.
You're passionate about this. I like it.
Yeah, dude, this movie pissed me off in the best way. Restless.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is F1.
That's higher on my list.
Okay. What's your number 5?
I hate to spoil that for you. That's higher on my list. My number 5 was The Housemaid.
Okay. You just saw this.
I just saw this. Again, late entry. But just fantastic. Sydney Sweeney is, I will say, not the best actress, but it's not her. Amanda Seyfried in this movie is absolutely incredible. Like, insanely good. The male actor, can't remember his name, was awesome. There's a twist in the movie that you don't expect at all. Like, there are almost no indications of it until you like go back and actually like think through the movie a little bit, that there were indications that this was coming. Just beautifully acted, for the most part. I mean, Sydney Sweeney was fine, but I don't think she needs to be this like huge level, dramatic. I think she was fine in it. I'm not saying she was bad in it by any stretch of the imagination. I think she fit the role perfectly, and she didn't need to be bad or good. She just needed to be, and that's fine. There's some comedic twist to it. There's some like uncomfortable shit in there that will definitely like throw you off, bravo. It was for a late entry. It couldn't get any better. I had to put this on my list. Interestingly enough, my wife wanted to go see it, which I would not have thought she wanted to. So I went to see it in theaters, and I'm glad I did. Because there were people there that were like, ugh, like kind of cringing at certain shit. And so it made it a very interesting watch.
I'm very excited to see this movie.
You should.
All right,
it's got to come out soon, I'm sure.
we're down to the bottom here. Number 4. Should I go?
Yeah, I want to hear yours. Because you had
right.
No, you didn't have
F1's 5.
You had that at 5.
Yeah.
What do you have at 4?
28 years later.
Finally, one that
Do we
you
sync
and
up?
I sync up on. Finally.
Okay, so 2 things. One, I saw the sequel. I saw the second part of it, so I know how the story all wraps up. I don't know that you have yet.
I have not yet.
I did know this was two movies that were shot back to back. This movie is so surprising. It's so unhinged and crazy. Ralph Fiennes is like this doctor, and he's covered in orange. He's covered in that, what's that orange, that like disinfectant?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's to keep the viruses away. Iodine. He's covered in iodine. And there's this kid, and his mom is dying, and and there's a zombie that gives birth and to a human baby, and there's like Catholic Satanists and ninjas, and I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? This movie is fucking nuts, dude.
It did come out of left field. You had like the super zombie, like the giant dude who was like chasing them down and stuff like that. The alphas, I guess they were called. It's such a departure from the original 28 days later, right? And then 28 weeks later. Like, it's such a departure from that, where you're like, how the fuck did we get here?
You're
But
referring to Samson, by the way.
Samson.
Samson.
I hear in the second one he has a huge hog. But I don't know.
There's a lot of hog in this movie. It's true, he does.
There was like, I don't know, there was some article that came out. It was like how they did the big dick prosthetics for 28 years later too, Bone Temple 2, whatever it is. But yeah, it was. I love Ralph Fiennes, so put him in anything, and I'm liable to watch it and probably love it. He's fantastic. The kid was very good in it. And then what's his name? Who's his dad?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, like, it was good. You don't really know where they're going with the mom thing, and then like, we're gonna go spoilers here. Like, Ralph Fiennes like takes her skull like clean and then like gives it to the kid, and it's like, here, put it on this pillar of skulls.
Okay, so this part of the movie is like where I was like, what the fuck, man? The mom's gonna die. All three of them come to an agreement. We're gonna go ahead and euthanize mom. We're all gonna do some drugs, and it's gonna be good. And there's like it's like this trippy drug thing, and it's like a montage of him boiling her skull to boil the flesh off. Gets it all ready and polished for him, and he's like, "You want to put it on the top?" And he's like, "I sure do." And then the little boy goes on his way, and Ralph Fiennes is living in this bone. It's a bone temple. He's got bone statues, bones everywhere, skulls everywhere. And there's this scene where this zombie gives birth to a human baby, and the zombie for just a split second is kind of there, and it's real weird. And then she turns back into a zombie. And it's weird shit like that. There's so much weird shit in that movie.
Yeah,
and also
all
we
the
shouldn't.
Jimmies, like.
Let me tell you about the Jimmies too. At the beginning, something happens, and it happens at a church, and you're like, well, this has nothing to do with that movie. And it really doesn't. It's all about the second part of it. So like the second movie is where that all comes in. But they're two different movies. They feel like two different movies in some way. And it's just, the second movie's great too. I didn't love it as much as this one. This movie is just fucking, all the ideas in it. The fact that a zombie would give birth to a human baby that was uninfected is very, very odd to me. It was a strange idea.
It was, and the whole movie was full of strange ideas. So I have to give it credit. Like, it was totally original, which is very hard to do these days.
With zombies? Zombies are overdone.
Especially zombies are overdone. There's another movie, I think it came out the end of last year or the beginning of this year, with Daisy Ridley, and it's a zombie movie. It's looks pretty decent. But yeah, totally different kind of movie. Just really enjoyable, but you have to kind of give it time to get into it a little bit.
It takes a minute.
The beginning of it is like, ugh, like, okay, yeah, you're getting your son ready to go do like something, whatever, like, and then at a lot of the time, like, you could have just made this movie without Aaron Taylor Johnson, and it would have been just as good.
If you watch them back to back, I think he makes more sense.
Okay,
because
is he in the no, okay,
no, it's just that he's one character, but he's a series of characters. So if you consider the story as like a 4-hour movie, then there's multiple characters that are like in and out. So
okay,
it works. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the next one and see how that finishes up, because there's another one coming, I think, next year or the end of this year, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that they were doing a trilogy.
Okay, I want to say about the Bone Temple, you have to see it because there's some stuff to talk about. it's also unhinged. I do want to mention that this one also does an interesting thing, which is that the zombies have evolved sort of. So like, there's the fast running zombies that are kind of crazy from those movies, but then there's also like these gray ones that are fat and
Your
weird, and they're like,
audio's kind of in and out, dude.
well, how about now? No,
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. Your audio is like really in and out.
man. This fucking
Hopefully
sucks.
that shows up on the podcast, but I don't
I
know
think
that it
I
will.
think it'll clean up. Can you hear me pretty good now?
Let's see if it cleans up. I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, so it's just doing a weird thing. Anyway, there's these zombies that are like gray and fat, and they eat earthworms, and that's like a neat twist on the fast zombies
Yep.
because like there's variations. The zombies are evolving over time, and the second movie plays heavily into what the fuck is what are these zombies? The zombies are not just zombies. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's showing an evolution over time, but it's happening quickly because evolution doesn't happen in 28 years. But with a virus like this, I assume that it can under the right circumstances. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to finishing the new one, or watching the new one. But again, I think there's another one coming out because I was told that this was a trilogy. So
Make them forever. If you can do this, if you pull this off every single time the way they have, I'm there.
excellent.
All right, number three.
My number three is F1, and since you already had this at your number 5,
Let's
let's
talk
talk
about
about it.
it. This movie
I fucking love this movie.
I'm glad you loved it. I think everybody loves it. It's so fucking good. You don't have to know anything about F1, but you can go into it, and by the end of it, you're like an F1 expert because it just shows you what modern day F1 is.
So one thing that you and Superfan have, because your audio's cutting again. One thing that you and Superfan have in common is you love cars, and I could care less about cars. So I think you both thought I was going to hate this movie. I've never personally watched F1 in my life, but to your point, what you were saying about like you don't have to know anything about F1 to go into this movie, and I actually watched it with my wife. I said to her one of the very interesting things is that they're giving you the rules basically, like as a narration of the race itself. And I really liked that part because I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense. Here's what I see what the team is trying to do within those rules to bend them, but not break them, to try and like increase, their chances of winning and stuff like that. I thought it was very well done. Brad Pitt was fantastic in it. Just a completely enjoyable movie. It was beautifully shot. I mean, the frames of this movie, it was beautifully shot completely. It looked great. Everything looked really expensive, as I'm sure it is. Apple did a great job shooting this movie for sure.
There's this turn you wouldn't recognize. God, my audio is just completely fucked. My internet's fucked. There's this turn in Spa where it kind of goes up a hill and it curves, and the way they shot it is so beautiful. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Now I can. It's like it comes and goes.
Sucks, man. Well, I'm probably breaking up right now.
Now it's completely like empty.
Well, keep talking. No. Oh, Brad, I had to go change my clothes really quick. So we were talking
Oh,
about F1.
we were talking about F1. So I guess you probably didn't hear what I necessarily said about F1. Um, so we did have technical difficulties, and now we're back. So F1, as a reminder, was number 3 on my list.
No
It
need
was
to repeat yourself.
5 on yours?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want you to re-say anything you've already said. I'll just say that, like, that movie got me, like, jacked up on F1 supply after that. I was like, oh my god, I can't get enough.
So my thing was, like, I had never watched F1 racing ever in my life. And don't inherently know that I will, just because I watched that movie, but I definitely have a deeper appreciation for it now. I thought it was wonderfully acted and everything, and just like the way that it was shot and the way that they kind of tell you the rules of F1 as they're racing through with the announcer, I thought was brilliant. Obviously, it is kind of cool to see like the cars and like how much money they put into it and getting what like sub 2 second stops, like pit stops and shit, right? Like that's pretty dope. And then I thought it was also cool, like the analytics going into the car for how they create like new parts ultimately to shave off like tenths of a second. We're not even talking like multiple seconds. We're talking tenths of a second. I thought it was really impressive. The research obviously went into the movie. I did think it was beautifully shot. I thought Apple did a great job there, considering they did because that was an Apple film, right? And then they did a release in theaters, and then it came to Apple TV, where I watched it. And I would watch it again. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that director has nailed his action formula. Just the way he's like, okay, we're gonna put cameras in a cockpit of a jet, and it's like, that seems crazy. How are you gonna do it? Same thing with F1, right? Like, you're gonna put all these cameras in there, and you're gonna film it, and it's gonna be pretty realistic. I mean, I don't think they were using like the real F1 cars for Brad Pitt's scenes, but Brad Pitt's driving a Formula One a race car, and yeah, that's the reality of it. You know, they are in simulators and they are doing things that are crazy, and they react that fast. And
yeah, I thought that was cool too. How they showed the simulator, and they were like, after the one, I forget what his name was, the black guy driver that was driving with Brad Pitt, where like he gets into that accident because he didn't listen to Brad Pitt, and he's like, give me the same scenario, and he just keeps playing that scenario and thinks he can drive through it and drive through it and drive through it, and then he does finally like go through the same scenario but does what Brad Pitt said to do, and he came through it fine. So I thought that was definitely interesting. I liked how they added in that air of like racing for the team, and like basically the team could be given up to who was Lord Edmure from Game of Thrones. if you recognized him.
Slimy.
But yeah, it just had it had all the components of a great film, in my opinion. And regardless of how you feel about F1, as everyone knows, I'm not a car guy. You and our super fan thought I would hate this movie, and it really did truly end up being, I think, one of the better movies of the year. I'm also a Brad Pitt stan. Okay,
he's great.
I love 99% of the shit that he does. So, I go back a long way for watching Brad Pitt films.
We're right at the cusp of Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and bringing back Days of Thunder and making this thing work, and it could be so cool. I hope they make another one. And Apple, there were 2 movies this year that kind of blew past expectations, I think. Zootopia was probably one of them, but the other one was F1. It made a shit ton of money, and it's a unique property and its own thing, and I think that's really cool. So,
and
more, please.
We're also getting to a point where like these guys are Brad Pitts, are Tom Cruises, like some of the best guys in the business are getting too old for a lot of this shit. Like at some point, they're not going to be able to do these kinds of movies anymore, and no one else is doing them, or at least not that well. I will say I think that the current crop of young actors isn't the greatest. I mean, there's some really good ones, but I think there was better actors coming up through like the 90s and like early 2000s like that are now getting to be like the old men actors. And it's just a shame that we're coming through that era, because I don't think that the new wave of actors is that great.
I would say for the guys, the actors, that would be true. I think actresses are actually doing that. I think they are like adapting properties that they think are interesting and producing them and putting their money where their mouth is more than the guys are. So
yeah, I would say they're hitting their renaissance for sure. You're starting to see better actresses come through as well. So for that younger generation of actresses, yeah, I think I would agree with that sentiment.
Like Scarlett Johansson's a perfect example where like she'll be in a movie, she's got 14 franchises, but then she'll go and direct a film, and because that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, and I support that completely. So yeah, F1, man, I can't say enough about it really. Like it was such a good movie.
Cool, I'm glad you liked it. So I'm on number 3 now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my number 3 is Bugonia. I feel I have to throat clear a little and just say that I despise this director, Lanthimos, whatever his full name is, his politics. I think he's like incredibly toxic and I can't stand him. And I think he's got some of the most odious views in Hollywood. And I fucking love his movies, and it really sucks. Because I loved this as well, and you watched this movie, so I will spoil a little of it. Like the movie's message is that humanity shouldn't exist, and I don't know that I agree with that message, but god damn, is that movie just so much fun. Jesse Plemons is so good in it, and there is so much crazy shit that happens, and it's like comical but like dark. And then halfway through the movie, it takes its like big twist turn, and you're like, "What?" Like you don't really think it's gonna go where it goes, and then it does, and it's got some wacky shit in it, and it just works. And then there's that scene where Jesse Plemons' head blows off and hits her in the head, and it's fucking hilarious. And it's like, what the fuck, dude?
It did have some comedy to it. I thought that this movie was niche, in my opinion, for probably what people would consider one of the best movies of the year. Jesse Plemons, I think, was nominated as far as being a great actor for this film. And it's left-wing coded in the sense of, like, it's kind of poking fun at right-wing conspiracy theorists, like, and how they're just, like, these grungy, dirty people, and, like, they're kind of dumb and aloof, and then it turns out that like he's right. So, which you and I know like does happen quite a lot, like from recent experiences, as we know. But
I think it's more left than that. I think it's about a corporation and a CEO getting kidnapped, and that CEO being kind of the villain, and there's a little of that in there as well. Doesn't make her look good, even though she's not necessarily the bad guy. It's very strange how it plays that game with.
Yeah, I agree, I do think that Emma Stone was pretty good in this.
She's just so good.
She is a pretty good actress, which is funny because like looking at some of the movies that she did starting out, you didn't think she was going that direction, but she really has like kind of turned that corner and does some pretty good stuff. Yeah, I can't complain. I did enjoy that movie. It didn't make my list or my honorable mentions. It was also another one like late entry for me. But bravo to this film. I thought it was pretty solid.
I love all of his movies. I love The Favorite. I think he did The Lobster. The Killing of a Sacred Deer was him. I think these are all his movies. Poor Things, which I liked. So I'm kind of like
has Emma Stone in it.
Yeah, I'm kind of a huge fan of his stuff, even though, like I just
Hate
said,
him as a person.
he's so despicable. Anyway, you're number two,
That's
sir.
how you know you like the art form, because someone you hate so vehemently, you are still willing to watch their movies.
Hey, Emma Stone, not exactly great on a lot of issues either. I probably disagree with her too, but yeah, great movie. You're number two, sir. Or my number two.
Your number two.
My number two is Caught Stealing with Austin Butler. This was on your list as well, right?
Yes, it was at number 10 for me.
Dude, this movie's nuts, and it's a great cat movie, and everybody dies, and it just goes. I was like watching it going like, what the fuck? What? And then I didn't even know who directed it. And then I was like, oh.
Liev Schreiber in something, and I'm kind of all in already. I'm a big Liev Schreiber stan.
This cast is stacked.
I love a lot of his work, and it is stacked. What's the guy from House of the Dragon? Matt something. I think.
Smith?
Yeah, I mean, he's in it. Great. The punk rock, like, mohawk, everything. Like, I don't know. It was dirty. It was weird. It was exciting and fun to watch. Like, it was one of the, like, you can't look away kind of movies, and it was enjoyable. I can't even distinctly remember so many parts to it. It just was generally fun to watch, and that's definitely why it made the list for me.
Yeah, Austin Butler just has like really shitty luck, and halfway through the movie,
was he good in this, by the way.
Yeah, he's really good. And I forgot. So halfway through the movie, I'm like, what the fuck is? Because I thought this was like another just like run of the mill whatever. Halfway through the movie, I'm like, this is way too insane for whatever. I looked up the director. I'm like, oh, Darren Aronofsky. This guy could direct a car chase? Like, what? Like, I love Darren Aronofsky movies, but they are never this. Like, this was like him making his like own action movie, and it is awesome. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Kudos. It kind of had almost like a Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels feel too.
Right.
Not a lot of people know that movie. That's kind of a niche movie as well. And so I think it fits right in with that. I wouldn't say Snatch. Like, Snatch was like a whole different thing, but same director. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch are the same director. Guy Ritchie. And it just had that feel to it. And you could have seen this be kind of a Guy Ritchie movie. And you could have plugged that in and been like, yeah, I see that. I get that.
Yeah, I highly recommend anybody who likes just a fun fucking movie to watch it, because it'll hold your attention all the way through. So
absolutely.
All right, what's your number two, sir?
My number two, which I think appeared at 15 on your list, is Weapons.
All right, it's true.
So I thought that this was very unique. The storyline of it was different. I think the storytelling from individuals' like points of view was like very interesting, especially because they didn't go back and tell every little piece of, like, say two people interact in like one person's point of view. When they go and do the other person's point of view, they don't do like a direct mirror of that. They kind of change elements of it, which so it kind of builds on the story a little bit. The Aunt Gladys thing, supposedly she's going to get her own like prequel kind of like movie to see what happens. There's an air of like unexplained pieces about like the witchcraft kind of thing that she goes through that I'm interested in seeing. Like, how did we even get to this? That I think is interesting. Some of the way people like die is a little unexplained. I think the what is it, the like the apple peeler to the face of like the one cop, like towards the end of the movie, just bravo. I'm glad they did something different like with that, because you don't see a ton of shit like that in movies. Like, the only thing I guess I can somewhat relate that to is from like Evil Dead Rise, when the girl gets the cheese grater on the back of the leg. Yeah, like, stuff like that. it just, you weren't expecting it because the movie wasn't overly gory or anything like that. But also the cast of this was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the cast is incredible, and there's some misdirects in that movie where I think he's seeing like an assault rifle on a house or something, and there's like, because the movie's named Weapons, so you're like, weapons, weapons. I'm like thinking it's got to be about weapons, and it kind of is, but not in the way I would have expected. And yeah, there's just a lot of like, the trailer made it look like it was going to be a pretty creepy ass movie, but it's pretty wacky in parts. There's that part where she's in the liquor store and they're kind of hinting that she's like an alcoholic and she's done some like crazy shit. And the whole way that all that unfolds, actually, she was like great. What's her name?
Julia something. I can't remember her last name, but she was in Ozarks. She played, actually, she had 2 movies this year because she was in Fantastic Four as Silver Surfer.
Right.
Yeah, I can't. Julia something.
Julia Fox.
Yeah, no.
No, that's not her.
No.
Why would I
remember the name.
I'll pull it up.
But yeah,
Julia Garner.
That's it. But yeah, she was great in it. What's his name?
I got him in front of me.
Yeah, what was his name?
Josh Brolin?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just blanking on that. Josh Brolin, I love him. Like, he's great in a lot of movies, and he really added to this. And it's not like he was even like the main character of it, but he's one of the people that they follow, and just awesome, like absolutely awesome. And the end is done like comically, so that they're like, oh, we had this like entire tense build up, and they just end with this like comical but dark and then kind of gross, like, spoiler alert, because fuck everybody if you haven't watched it yet, they like all these little children like rip Gladys's head apart and shit, and it's just like so bloody but comical at the same time. Like, it just was out of left field, and like they chase her down, and you obviously you'll see the context of it when you watch the movie, but it just was like such a fitting kind of like ending, I guess.
It was hilarious to watch these little kids jumping through windows and stuff. Like, it's not like oh, they're chasing her down. They're like chasing her through the neighborhood, and they're just like going buck wild to get to her. It's like, because they're just locked on. They're like missiles, and they're just like tracking her down. It's hilarious.
Would you say they were weapons?
They were weapons, sir.
Oh, hey. I think that's a great way to end that piece of the segment.
I am now going to talk about my number one.
I wonder if we are going to agree on this one.
You texted me something different yesterday.
I switched up my 1 and 2.
Well, that's good, because I think you were wrong, but now you're right. Number 1 is Eddington.
Absolutely, it's Eddington.
Absolutely. Eddington was... I heard a lot about it going in, but I heard it was about COVID. So there's about 30% of that movie that's about COVID. The rest of that movie, though, is fucking wild as shit. Like, there's some crazy shit in that movie.
It's truly Ari Aster. Like, he just makes some wild fucking movies, and this one's no different. But you're right, the first 30-40% of the movie is strictly like COVID, poking fun at it. Joaquin Phoenix, who is awesome, just like, he's this like kind of right-wing cop, deal. He's just like, well, right wing in terms of like, he's like, these COVID policies don't make any sense. Like, he's sitting in his cop car without a mask on, and then these 2 other cops pull up, and they're like, you have to have your mask on, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sitting alone in my car, like, and like, you have to do the mask thing, and it's just like, it's just, it calls back to, obviously everything that people experienced during that time, but then it takes a crazy turn. Okay, so on the COVID thing, it's all real. People did that shit. It's 100%. Been 5 years, and nobody's really made a movie about COVID, and he does. Now, what makes it interesting is that it's not all about COVID, but there are
he does not pull any punches on this shit. So like a guy's trying to get in the grocery store, and the guy's like, "You don't have a mask on. You can't come in the grocery store." And Joaquin Phoenix is like, "Well, he's gotta eat." And like, there's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, people were like, "You can't get food because you don't have a mask on." But then there's this other scene that I found really awesome where the kid is trying to like, he's sort of like flirting with this other girl, and he says, and she's reading an Angela Davis book. Angela Davis being the radical Black Panther who like gave guns to somebody who killed somebody, right? Killed a cop. Whatever, I think that's her. And people were they were losing their fucking minds over that summer. And so you have these kind of like ditzy white girls who don't know who Angela Davis is, but they have the book because they have the book. And then he's like, "Well, I'm going to get the book too." And he's just faking it because he doesn't give a shit about Angela Davis. Nobody should. But like, that encapsulated so much of that time. Same thing with the social media black squares which showed up, which I thought was really, like, I'm sure a lot of people that bothered. But that was true. Everybody said, "We have to post a black square on this day."
Oh, yeah. That was huge.
Yeah,
that was absolutely huge.
What was that?
Obviously, like, they brought up the George Floyd protests. Like,
they
it was
did.
Part of the storyline and everything else.
There's a protest that Joaquin Phoenix has to manage, and he's like, "I don't know what to fucking do."
Of like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, there's like
he's like completely lost. But these like girls are just like showing up and protesting randomly, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
And Austin Butler's really good in it, and Pedro Pascal's really good in it, and
he had another big year.
Yeah,
he was just in everything.
Yeah, he shows up as like I think they've said basically on the record that he's like a Russell Brand character. He's supposed to be like that, so he comes out of nowhere. So like there's that whole element of the movie where it was absolute madness that we lived through, and then the mayor's doing his own thing. And then Joaquin Phoenix assassinates Pedro Pascal. And right? Is that what happens?
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes a huge turn.
It takes a huge turn. It throws at Antifa. Ari Aster is on the record saying this movie's about data centers. What a fucking prediction that was.
Plus you had the mother-in-law, like it like
conspiracy theories.
Wife just like ups and like leaves him.
Yeah,
and then
like what?
And then he's just there with like his mother-in-law, like living with her and shit like that, and she's like this crazy conspiracy theorist and shit like that. I mean, it had elements of everything in it, and then that assassination happens because Pedro Pascal like disrespects him or something, and so he ends up flipping out and shooting him. And then he's trying to like cover it up, and it just becomes this whole like data center thing, completely fucking out of left field. And so it's because Pedro Pascal was gonna get the data center put in.
Yeah. So then you got the Antifa thing where like this secret Antifa group's gonna fly in to the tiny town wherever it is, New Mexico, and then they're gonna hunt him down in the streets. And then it becomes this like massive shootout, and it goes kind of old country, No Country for Old Men. I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Oh my god, yeah!
He's in his cowboy hat, running around.
But those scenes were like incredible. Like,
yes,
and I would say like from like the military aspect of it, like with the way that he was shooting and moving and everything, just was like accurate as all hell. You know, like he did a great job. Expenditure of ammo for sure, like, and you're just like watching dumbfounded. You're like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like,
yeah,
how did this go from like him running for mayor because of COVID to like fighting a paramilitary group over a data center? Like, it just was wild, like absolutely wild. And then the end.
End.
Yeah. Did he get stabbed in the head? I think he got stabbed in the head.
I think he got stabbed in the head. He becomes a vegetable.
But becomes the mayor.
And he can't really move or talk. And, I mean, you think about it, because then there's his buddy, or one of the cops, not his buddy, but one of the cops like it ends with like him like practicing his shooting and stuff like that. So like the end of that movie is also out of nowhere. Like it's fully unhinged the whole thing through. It's all just vaguely connected series of madness. I don't know what else to describe it as. Like,
Well, then, like he wins his election while he's a vegetable, and his mother-in-law gets the data center opened up, and he so like the whole thing just ends in this data center opening up, and then the whole movie basically closes with him still living with his mother-in-law and an aide who. Like, I don't know, he slaps the aide over the head or something, and he fucking smacks the shit out of him, even though he's a vegetable. And they definitely showed Joaquin Phoenix's dick. I don't know if you remember that part.
Yeah, because they're
like dragging him back to put him on the toilet, and that's when they start like, fighting.
But then the bed scene.
Yeah, he gets put into bed, and then the aide comes sauntering over and climbs into bed. And he sleeps next to his mother-in-law and the aide, like, fucking. It just was, like, such a wild ending to a movie. But it's totally Ari Aster, man. Like, it's his style. It's weird, but it's interesting and quite enjoyable of a film. I wouldn't say my wife liked it very much.
Well, she's wrong. And, you know, I gotta say, like, Ari Aster, I've listened to some interviews with him, and he isn't expressly political. He's not on, you know, center. He's on the left, but he's not trying to make a movie about the politics of that moment. He's making a movie about that moment, and that moment was insane, and we all saw it and we all lived through it, and some people will defend what they did, but I watched that movie and I go, I think everybody who was like pro mask or pro or anti whatever, I think all of them need to watch it, because it just shows you how embarrassing this country's behavior was at that time.
Oh, absolutely. But that's just it. Is like, it takes like a whole turn where you can just like forget about that too.
Yeah, you can move away. Like people don't want to remember COVID. I get that.
You can watch it and be offended for the first 30%, 40% of the movie, but then it's a completely different movie in the second half, and like all of that ceases to exist. And it just becomes like its own entity going forward. Like, and that's why it's so weird, because the context switch right in the middle is so wild and different. But it makes it interesting.
Oh,
yeah,
it's so good.
Fantastic.
And I just gotta say, like, Pedro Pascal, you know, he had The Materialist come out. He had the Last of Us, Fantastic Four. He's in this, right? So like, he's in a ton of shit. This is by far the best movie he was in all year.
Oh yeah. And the Materialist was fine.
I watch it.
I watched it with my wife. It was fine. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I'm also not a big fan of what's her face,
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, I've kind of never really been a big fan of hers. But she was fine. I mean, she was in Bad Times at El Royale.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a very good movie. I thought she was good in that, I guess.
She was great in Suspiria.
Yeah, I just generally think she's probably the same person in every movie, so...
Madam Web. Remember that? Okay, so yeah, I gotta say, just like, yeah, I'm glad you re-thought about Eddington, because there's nothing really like it, but it's going to take a long time for people to, I think, come around to it. So
I think so, but I do think everyone should see it.
All right, so we usually end these with a recap of our selections.
Yep.
So
15, I had The Amateur,
and I had Weapons.
I had Presence at 14.
I had Black Bag.
I had Dust Bunny at 13.
The Luckiest Man in America.
I had Wick is Pain, my first ever documentary, on one of these lists.
Meow. I had The Phoenician Scheme.
I had The Accountant 2.
Friendship.
Caught Stealing at 10.
Presence at 10.
Mission Impossible at 9.
The Surfer.
September 5th at 8.
Bring Her Back at 8.
Which I forgot about that one. I feel disappointed in myself. Last Breath at 7.
September 5th for 7.
Warfare at 6.
Restless for 6.
The Housemaid at 5.
F1 at 5.
28 years, Bone Temple at 4.
Not the Bone Temple, the first one, but we both had it at 4.
I thought that was Bone Temple.
No, Bone Temple's the new one. It's okay. You're not perfect.
Whatever. It's the same fucking movie. F1 at 3.
And Begonia at 3.
Weapons at 2.
Caught Stealing at 2.
And Eddington at 1.
And because we did this, I completely forgot, but I did want to mention that I liked Frankenstein quite a bit. And it slipped my mind. I forgot to put it on my list, and I was like, ah, shit, I liked it.
It probably should have made honorable mentions. I would say Jacob Elordi was very good as the monster.
So good.
I thought it was a different tack to take. Christoph Waltz obviously makes any movie better, in my opinion. And it just was a good adaptation of Frankenstein, which we probably haven't seen in quite a while.
Not a good one. Or faithful.
And there's an adaptation of Dracula coming up this year that technically hit the circuit a little bit in 2025 in terms of, like, I think South by Southwest or something like that. One of these film festivals, but it got picked up and will be released in 2026 here. And it looks pretty solid. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it yet, but it looks good.
Well, a few years ago, I remember putting on my top 15 that puppet vampire movie, so I mean, go watch that too. I haven't seen this one.
No, I don't think any of us like Nosferatu, so.
No, Nosferatu's for people who never saw Nosferatu. Like,
But check out Frankenstein, especially it's a Netflix. Okay, so we all know how Netflix is hit or miss, but
it's just a beautiful movie to look at, and like, Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein. He is just, great. All right, buddy. Well, we've been going about this for about 36 hours now, so I guess I'll cut you loose.
All right, buddy. I'll see if we can mix this up.
Okay, bye.
Bye.